Hello, hello, hello. It is July 5, 2024. It's been a couple of weeks since we last heard from Norm Winski. That's a couple of weeks too long. Norm, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for having me on, Jeff. Before I start, I just want to get this question periodically. Why do I spend so much time reviewing these markets? It's if you want to know what the future is going to be, you have to study the past patterns, and these are all cycles and they repeat. And then you learn what works in the past, and there's a good chance it will work in the future. I'll give you one example. Not too long ago, I wasn't using the lunar cycle for oil, and I started noticing the oil was turning on the new moons and the full moons, so I've now added the oil to the lunar cycle. That's how you learn what's going to happen in the future. So let's get right into it now. I was last on your show, Jeff, on the 21st in anticipation of a triple whammy change in trend window for that weekend. It's for June 21. We had a full moon in the sign of Capricorn. Anytime we have a full moon, new moon, we look at the financials, grains, precious metals, also oil. I should have put oil in there. And because it was in Capricorn, coffee. I don't know if I reviewed oil or not. I might have missed oil. Maybe we'll unofficially take a look at oil in a few minutes. Then we had a double whammy for the U.S. chart there, and anytime we have the U.S. involved, the U.S. chart involved, based on when the country was founded on July the 4th, 1776, we look at stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. That was a double hit there for over that weekend. And then the weekend of the 28th at the end of the month, we had Saturn in Pisces turning retrograde. That's one of my top things when the planets turn retrograde or direct. Has to do with the relative motion of the Earth to the other planets, and we'll be looking at coffee and oil then. So our first point was the lunar point there. We look at grains, and there's corn, one of the rare times that corn did not respond to a new moon or full moon, and it kept going down. So that's a red arrow for a miss. Soybeans were just going sideways into the moon, so that's would do nothing. That's a yellow box. And then the wheat, we missed a nice low by about a day or two early. And so, I'm sorry, got distracted. Wheat and then wheat about a day or two to the low there, but that doesn't count. We have to be right within a day. And then the coffee, we were within a very nice low there on the coffee. You can see we're going down, down, down. Just missed that low there. If you're not familiar with coffee, coffee is a beast in terms of money. That's 10 cents. Let me just say every penny is $375. So if it moves 10 cents, that'd be $3,750. And I think this moved about 12 cents in a day. So that's like $4,000 in a day. Crazy, yeah? And so then we're moving up here into this high here, and that was a big drop that day. So you had a chance to not make as much as 4 grand, but maybe about half as much. And so that was pretty good. Here's the crude oil, and there you had the moon there on the oil, and that made a little bit of low there for a short-term low, and it popped up there, and you could have made some money. Even better over here on the Saturn turning retrograde in the sign of Pisces, which is oil. You see you pulled down there, and then you had a nice pop up for that's about a handle and a half or so. Make that more like I'm gonna blow this up a bit. There are 380, looks like about 2.5 handles. That's about $2,500 there. Silver did not work. That's a miss. But gold had a nice pullback into the moon. This is the moon, by the way. And over the weekend, the 21st into the opening 24th, and you see there a nice pop up on the gold. And then the S&P had a pull back into that weekend. And if you bought there, you would have been pretty happy because you can see had a nice rally there. I think for about 100, almost 100 handles. It was 54.40 up to about 80, 90 handles there. So that's about $4,000. And then we pulled back here into the Saturn retrograde over the weekend of the 28th, and that also was a nice low into a big rally there. Bonds went sideways, so we did nothing there. The currencies were very good. Dollar rallied made a high there right on the moon. And here's your Aussie dollar making a low there. And here's the British pound making a nice low there on the moon. And here's your Canadian dollar also making a nice low on the moon. And here's the euro also making a nice low on the moon. And the only one that didn't work was the yen. It went kind of sideways and then lower. So that was a miss. If you add up all the green arrows and red arrows, you got 14 winners, 4 misses out of 18 for 77.78%. Now I'm going to follow up on something I've been talking about every time I come on the show here for about the past month or so, that we had a key level back in May right here at the 53.25 level. That was a Fibonacci extension based on the 2022 mini bear market when we dropped about 1,327 handles on the S&P. And when we broke out over that, then you start doing your Fibonacci extensions. And the first major one was at 1.382, or to be exact, 1.3819. That was right at that level there. It held for about a week or so, and then it broke out, and now we're much higher now. These charts are as of Thursday night, and so we're a day later, and now we're up about, I think we're up about, 5570 now on the S&P 500. So the projection is that once you broke out this level, it was probably going to go, as I had here on my notes, we're going to the 50, where's that number? 5639. There's your number there, 5639. And so far, that seems to be working out. This market is stair-stepping its way. It's driving everybody crazy, I think. It stair-steps its way higher, goes up, and then goes sideways for a week or so. Then it jumps, and then sideways, and so forth. So there's the S&P. And here's another little review we're going to have. I always, in the beginning of each month, I show what happened the last month in terms of, if you're familiar with Donald Bradley's stock market prediction on Bradley Index, he would forecast the market weeks and months in advance. I do a month at a time in my version, and here's the blue line. I did a month in advance, and you can see then the black bars are the S&P 10-minute bars, and I overlay those on top. And you can see, I think there's maybe about 85% correlation there. And we got different astral points there. That little high there was, and there was a new moon and Venus at 0 north latitude. There's a little high there with Mercury at 0 north latitude. There's a low there, Mercury perihelion. There's a whole class here just on this graph. And there's a full moon there, made a little top there and pulled back. And there's your Saturn turning retrograde there, which we now know turned out to be a low. Now what's coming up? Okay, this is Friday the 5th, and this weekend, actually tonight, we have a new moon in the sign of Cancer, and we're going to be looking at the financials, grains, precious metals, and let me add oil here. I don't know why I didn't put oil. I'm going to type that in right now. There we go, oil, and we're off the margins there, so I'll do that. And then we're going to have Venus, perihelion, so cattle, copper. Oh, this is the night of the 9th, after the close of the 9th. Cattle, copper, corn, cotton, gold, OJ, sugar, wheat. We probably just eliminate the OJ because nobody trades it. There we go. We'll fix that. There we go. And then we have the morning of the 14th. We have Sunday to the U.S. chart involving Neptune. Again, stocks, feed, bonds, U.S. dollar, and oil. And then the night over the weekend, the 15th, I think that's a weekend. That is a weekend. Jupiter to the U.S. chart, and then the 16th also, that's, oh no, the 15th is not a week, 14th is a weekend, 15th is not a weekend, and we have Jupiter lined up with the U.S. chart for stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar, and then the night of the 16th, we have Mercury 0 south latitude. That's your grains for corn. Nobody trades oats, so we'll take that out. It's corn, soybeans, wheat. Okay, so I've been doing this a long time, about 50 years. I'm a former Chicago Florida trader. I've studied all these different methodologies, GAN, Elliott wave, astrophysics, astrology, music cycles, and so forth. And I'm looking forward to helping some folks. And you can call me up and talk to me for free, and I might send you some free stuff and answer your questions. So please give me a call, 239-594-3939. That's 239-594-3939 in beautiful Naples, Florida. Or you can call me on Skype at nwinski@yahoo.com. Or you can email me at the same address, nwinski@yahoo.com. Looking forward to helping some of the folks. Have a great weekend, and please call me right away.
Norm, terrific as always. We'll see you back in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much, Jeff.